5 things I love about Automobilista. Now, just before we get on with this, I just want to say a massive thank you for those that left likes, comments, and got the conversation going in a non-toxic way on the previous video, 5 things I hate about AMS2. It was lovely to see AMS2 players come out in force and really use constructive criticism rather than toxicity to talk about the things they're not keen on in their chosen sim that they like to play a lot of. So I just want to say massive thanks for those that did leave a like, did comment, and did engage in that last video. Hopefully you'll all do the same again for this one. A little bit better this time. This is the things that I personally love about the sim. I'm sure you've got your own, so do let me know in the comments if yours are aligned with the things that I love about the platform and why I play the platform, or if you've got your own little favorites there. In no particular order, let's get on with this 5 things that I love about the Automobilista 2 sim racing platform. Number 1, plug and play. Right, buying, downloading, being in the sim in a car racing in Automobilista 2 is quick. It is perhaps best in class. No, actually, that's wrong. It is shared best in class, at least in my opinion, with one other title, that being Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is equally just as easy to buy, download, and be in sim like that. And I think this is somewhat lost, and this is somewhat only on this list purely because there are other sims I'm going to be putting into this love-hate series that are just amazing to play, but there's a bit of a learning cliff, or at least it's a bit more complicated, basically. So Automobilista 2, you buy it on Steam, you download it, you load it up, and then you're essentially in a car right away. It's just so simple. There's no massive mods needed to bring it up to spec. There's not an endless amount of readmes and step-by-step instructions and trying to work out which mod goes with which mod and how they might interact with one another. It's just you download and you're up and running so quickly. Number 2 for me is realistic time and weather. Now this might be a weird one given how many sims have nice weather effects, time of day stuff. It's kind of standardized, I guess, in sim racing these days, at least with most titles. However, what makes Automobilista 2 a little bit special is how Riser have approached time and weather. Now, it's an approach that you don't often see in sim racing. However, it is an approach you see a lot of in flight sim. Now, I work in the flight simulation industry, and the fact that I have a flight simulation style weather system in a race sim just blows my mind all of the time. Now, AMS2, with its historic weather data, is just amazing. You set a date and it gives you a decent estimation of what the weather was on that day. It's stunning. And if you're not sure what the weather was on that day, you can get just amazing, truly surprising experiences in AMS2 that can be, at least to my knowledge, cannot really be replicated unless I think there is a mod for AC that might do it or get close to it. But as I said from point 1 for the plug and play, the fact this is in the base sim is just stunning. It's absolutely like mind-blowingly immersive. Couple the weather system not being static as well, so like flight simulation, it's a dynamic experience. It changes throughout the day. You get amazing racing, amazing changeable conditions. You get on the larger tracks, you even get the case where it's raining on one part of the track not raining on another part of the track, and then as the cloud goes over, it rains on another part of the track, and the other part of the track starts drying, and you just get the chaos of realistic weather and changeable conditions. You get the chaos of that in your sim, and it just, I can't put it into words how cool an experience this can be. You have to give this a go. If you've not used the Automobilista 2 weather system yet, give it a go. It's all tied in with the time acceleration as well, which is bloody awesome. It adds an entire another element. You've got to decide whether you want to pit. You need to wet tires. Do you need intermediate tires? Does your car even have intermediate tires? If part of the track's wet, if part of it's dry, you're gonna like just. It's mental in a really fun, good way. Give this one a go. Realistic time and weather in Automobilista 2 is out of this world. Amazing. Give it a go. The number 3 on my little 5-point list of things that I love is multiplayer. This somewhat links back to the plug and play feature of the sim that I pointed out in point 1. It's also a bit of a weird one because those that watched my previous video of five things I hate will know that this was somewhat mentioned on that list as well. However, I want to come at it from a slightly different angle, because I know that as well as one of the things that I hate about Automobilista 2, it's also one of the things that I love about AMS 2. So the angle I have to come at it from this is that I can jump into the sim, I can load up a multiplayer lobby, and I can race with friends. Pretty much in under a minute, I can be online, on track, racing with friends. That's amazing. There's no dedicated server nonsense that I have to use. There's no mods that I have to use. I own the game, therefore I can host. And how I host is based solely on my internet. If I have good internet, I can host a lobby with like 20 drivers, no problem, in all times of day. It's like this lost technology of sim racing that I can do this. Because in sim racing titles and games gone by, this was like the norm. But for some reason, this kind of mystical technology, the way things went, it all got lost. But it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful to have this in Automobilista 2 and be able to play with my friends just like that. It's just awesome. Or it's another one that is kind of the other side of a point I raised in my hate video. That is the rare content in AMS 2. So Automobilista 2 is filled with stuff rarely, if ever, seen on other forms, including custom moddable AI, the rare race series that they feature, the random rare circuits as well. It just allows all of its customers, all of its players to enjoy some very, very unique racing, open people's eyes beyond the GT3 that I think many of us do love and many of us love to hate. It's thanks to Riser's Brazilian roots. The classic Copper series are in, which is kind of think old school Fiat Unos and old school Volkswagens. At least from Western eyes, I think on a glimpse, they kind of look like bangers, like the old banger racing. But they're raced seriously around a track. They are just an extremely challenging, visceral experience. You are holding your wheel for dear life. Definitely, if you've got a shifter, you're going to want to just nail the shifter. It's can almost be like rallying at times. These old cars are insane to drive. Definitely worth giving a go. Then there's the other absolute madness that is For me, anyway, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people potentially shouting at me for this, but the Brazilian stock car series are the closest thing I've driven to BTCC kind of door-banging mental racing. These cars are insane. If you hint too much at the throttle, it wants to spin you. They have so much power, they have trouble getting it down. The racing is mental, ball banging. It's insane. And for those of us with our rose tinted glasses that want to hark back to the classic PlayStation days of the top-out games in the late 90s. Oh shit, I'm old. In the late 90s, then give these cars a go in AMS2. They're not the same, but it kind of has that feeling. Really, really cool. And then, as I spoke about in my hate video again, there is the madness of the Brazilian endurance racing. Now, in my hate video, I mentioned that the classes are all over the place. And in this video, I'm going to say that's a good thing, because it annoys the hell out of me at times, but then I really enjoy it at other times. So prototype 1, 2, 3, and 4 are in the game, but they're completely different to what the West usually has. You see, in Brazilian endurance racing, prototype 1, 2, 3, 4 are often raced, or at least some of those are often raced with GT3 cars, and it's not like the GT3s are these slow-moving chicanes. No, in this series, they're about the same speed, and they're just faster at different points on a track. This is really interesting because in the IMSA series currently, I'm recording this in February 2023, in the IMSA series at the minute, there's a lot of chit-chat about LMP3s being dangerous, or they should be made faster, because it's not fair that they are fast at some parts of the track and then the GT3 is faster at another part. It makes the racing all over the place. Well, in Brazil, this is by design. This entire race series in Brazil, where this is by design. The prototypes go quick at one part and then slow at another part, and it's just up to the racing drivers to just figure it out. And if you want this mental experience of that kind of racing, AMS2, give it a go. GT3s, GT4s, whack in some prototype 1, 2, and 3s in there, and you get absolute mad chaos in a good fun way. So yeah, this is why that's in my list of things that I keep coming back to AMS for, is the rare content. It definitely opens my eyes to series that don't really get the limelight, but definitely do exist and have their own rich culture and history behind it. So if you want to open your eyes to something a bit different, load up AMS2 and give some of these random series a go. And of course, Google the random series as well. There's a whole bunch of websites out there. A lot of these races are on YouTube as well, so you can see what they're like on the commentary kind of streams. Really exciting to watch, really fun. That is why it's on my list. Last one, 5, Madness Engine. Again, another point I guess I hinted at on my hate list again, but it's going to be on my love list. It ties in again with the plug-and-play nature of the sim. The game engine running Automobilista 2 is the Madness engine. It's the same engine that ran the Project Cars titles. And it basically means that AMS2 is one of the best-looking sims on the market. For some reason, this engine just looks amazing even in 2023. You can pump up the graphics, no worries. It looks amazing. It's beautiful for VR, all because, as well as looking amazing, it's also just light. Like, it's insane. It looks as good as ACC, but runs like a million times better. You don't tend to need to tweak AMS2. It just pumps the frames out. It will be pumping your frames out. You'll have too many frames, you get them all in your face. Oh my god, it runs amazingly well. It tends to be the sim of choice for many VR players because of just how awesome it runs in VR. Obviously, that means on a monitor it runs even better. It looks stunning. It runs amazing. Absolutely has to be on this list. Just how good AMS2 can run and look at the same time. Absolutely awesome job to the developers, the programmers that made the Madness engine. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. So these are my 5 things that I love about AMS2. They're the 5 things that keep me coming back to Automobilista 2. Do you agree? Do you want to shout at me, or have I just completely bored you to tears? Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of these love-hate series. Do subscribe to this channel on YouTube. If you want to leave a little like, that would be awesome. Seriously, guys, it helps loads. There'll be a video up here of last week's, which was my hate about AMS2. If you've not seen that yet, go check that one out. And yeah, these are my thoughts of a little casual dad pleb sim racer on the 5 things I love and hate about various things in sim racing. And I'll see you on the next one.